Alright everyone, hope you're all doing well, hope you're all keeping safe, hopefully you all had a good weekend. Don't you just hate Mondays, man? It's the start of a new work week. There's normally a lot of work to do on a Monday, and you know it's going to be 5 days until the weekend again. Premier League foot is back, and yeah, it just really sucks. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about some news. We've got a snippet of information around the Division universe, if that's a thing, I don't know. It's actually about the Division movie coming from Netflix. Drop a like and subscribe to stay up to date with all the videos, and let's go over the recent news about the movie. I think it's safe to assume that with the end of Season 4 and before the announcement of Year 3 content, most people probably thought the Division movie had been scrapped. It felt like the game had been scrapped, and actually it kind of had until we obviously got the Year 3 news, and we've talked about why that might be previously. That's exactly what I thought about the movie. I did think it had been scrapped, to be honest. I went back and tried to look at the kind of last updates that we had before the most recent news that I'm going to talk about shortly. Kind of updates that we had about the movie, and there's been no real updates for about a year or so, maybe more. And with that in mind, I definitely thought the movie had been canned. No one had been talking about it, and it felt as though it was kind of dead in the water. Now, so for some of you, the idea of a Division movie might be news in of itself, especially if you're quite new to the franchise. I know there's a lot of new players since the start of this year. I've seen the forums, and the amount of posts that come out saying I'm either a returning player or a new player is quite frequent. So a lot of you might be thinking, well, what am I talking about? Well, some time ago, back in 2016, I believe, it was revealed that Ubisoft were commissioning a Division movie with at least 2 stars confirmed. Jake Gyllenhaal, who I'm sure most of you know. 2 of my favourite performances from him came from Nightcrawler. I think it was Louis Bloom in that, where he was just awesome, and then Prisoners as well. And then the other confirmed star was Jessica Chastain from films such as Interstellar and Zero Dark 30. She was absolutely amazing in Zero Dark 30, which is still one of my favourite movies ever, actually. Now, in 2019, Netflix acquired the film rights after the package was put on the market. And based on articles that I've looked back on, it states the production of this film was set to start at the end of last year, 2020, and or the beginning of this year. And film is meant to take place in New York, the same location as the first game, because it is based off of the first game, obviously. Now, in terms of the plot, it's meant to follow kind of the same basic storyline of the Division, where, you know, we have the virus. It's released upon the citizens of New York on Black Friday. It's spread through paper money, and as a result, the Division is activated and tasked with going into New York and saving any survivors. You guys know the story. We all know the story, but that's what they're meant to be producing in a film format, and that's pretty much the extent of what we knew about this until some recent news. Now, last week, a tweet from Rawson Thurber, I can't say that, I'm just going to call him Rawson, was shared with me, and this is what it said. Quote, "To call this a dream would be an understatement. I stood in line for 3 hours to catch a glimpse of the Division at E3 in 2013, played the alpha and beta, played the Division 2 every Tuesday night with 3 of my closest pals. I won't let the community down." And that's the end of the quote there. In the article, it confirms the original director, David Leitch, I think that's how you say it, I'm just going to call him David, had to step down due to scheduling conflicts that included his action pick Bullet Train, which is currently filming, and they're going to remain as a producer on the project. The article also confirms that Leitch and Kelly McCormick's 87 North Productions, Gyllenhaal's 9 Stories, Chastain's Freckle Films, Thurber's Bad Version, and Ubisoft Film and Television are producing the film. So there's quite a lot of studios involved in the production of this film. It appears to be a pretty massive project, which is what gets confirmed. Actually, the article confirms that Rawson has strong ties with Netflix, as they recently directed a film called Red Notice, starring Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds. You guys probably have heard of all of those. They're 3 huge titans of the industry, and is considered one of the biggest productions to date undertaken by Netflix. So this is going to be, when you consider all of the stuff that Netflix has put out, this is going to be pretty massive. So what do you guys think about this news? Well, I actually put out a poll to gauge whether people will be watching this movie when it does finally come out, which, you know, guys, it's likely not going to be for a very long time yet. Rawson actually commented under his initial tweet confirming there isn't a new script yet, which means there aren't any roles yet, so there's not any kind of spaces to get a position. So the film is very much in early production, and I suspect we're looking at, I don't know, 3 to 5 years before this does come out, if it comes out at all, because, you know, there's still very much the reality that whilst this news is great, it still doesn't actually make it out into the public. Now, for anyone thinking the story will likely not include hunters, well, Rawson did actually didn't confirm, but Rawson did respond saying, "Don't be so sure," which kind of has me excited. I mean, I was excited for the movie anyway. The Division initial story, if told properly, could be very, very good, and to have it in a movie format, which is probably my favorite type of media by a mile. I watch Netflix and movies more than I do anything else, more than gaming, more than anything else. So to have one of my favorite franchises realized in movie format has me excited anyway. But then to be told that we might actually be getting hunters involved in that as well, that just sounds so cool. Now, looking at all the poll results so far, it's clear the overwhelming majority are going to be checking it out, which, you know, is to be expected. This channel is built upon The Division, so that yeah, that wasn't a surprise to me. I guess the best news here, though, aside from the fact that we know this film is very much in the works, albeit early production, is the fact that Rawson, this person that until this was tweeted at me, I had no idea who they were, is the fact that Rawson appears to be a true fan of the series, meaning they're likely gonna want to make, you know, the very best of this product before it gets released. Something you're less likely to get from maybe a producer who isn't invested in the game. So that ultimately is very good news, to know that actually it's in very, very good hands from someone who is invested in the actual story from the game. That's it for today's video, guys. No news in game as of right now. I put out another poll last week asking you guys if you had to choose one in terms of content for year 3. What would it be? Would it be story and missions, or would it be new game modes, or etc, etc? And the results are a bit surprising, if I'm honest. And I guess it kind of confirms what people currently want from the people that are left, what they actually want from the game. And I'm going to go over that in a future video. I think it's very revealing to see what the community generally want, because I think there was nearly 5k votes on that poll, which is insane. And it is revealing that I think over half of the people wanted new story and missions, as opposed to something like game modes, which I thought that's what most people were gonna click for, because I think that's the one thing the game really lacks is game modes. Obviously, I'd rather have all of it, you know. I'd rather have the story, the missions, the game modes, all of that stuff. But if you had to pick one, I was surprised that I think game modes came second over story and missions, and I guess that just shows where the community is at with this franchise currently. But yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a vendor reset. I might do. I'm not quite sure yet. I will if I've got time. But I do have another poll up at the moment, as I said, about whether you're going to be checking out the Division movie. So please head on over to that poll and leave your comment, or click on what you want to see. Like I said, I think most people are looking forward to this movie, and I very much am. Until the next one, guys, epic out.